Jabus bananas. What's this? That's Mooney's bowls that we carve out of this pumice. So in our welfare reform system, where we're going to make these little bowls. So put them all around. Make these little bowls and put them all around Old Greg's vagina and other places. Fielding's knoll. See, there's not many trees outside of this mangina. No, they murdered them all and cut them down. They've murdered some up in here, too. But this is Fielding's knoll. Yeah, it's just like a geographical feature that's like a knoll. It goes all the way around. Kind of looks like this, in fact. Yeah, it has a feature of looking like this shape over here. Yeah, I mean, he's got some other walls over here. Here's another bowl. Sort of looks like that. It's that kind of a shape. Yeah, and the strange thing about this shape is we've seen this shape in the forest called Six Rivers. Yeah, we've seen it on giant boulders and etched out of rock. I guess down by this Jedi River, this Jedi Smith River. Yeah, so there's like some kind of merging between Star Wars and Star Trek or some shit, because there's this Jedi River over there that's a part of the Six Rivers. And then they got this knoll up in here. See how it goes over there? And it has this shape. And it goes up in there. And it goes around like that. Yes, it's got that shape. And there's a little hole there. There's a little ground. Something lives in the ground there, and they can pops out of there and get the drink. And birds. Yeah, it's for the birds too. Yeah, so whatever that is, don't be eating the birds. Yeah, so Moody's up in Old Greg's vagina. You know, K-N-O-L-L Fieldings. Mighty Boosh mangina. And we're extracting some seeds from these boy-girl tree vaginas. And planting them in different ways. Extracting them in different ways. And also making some little bowls. Yeah, making some little bowls. So that the birds and the lizards, they can have little bowls. Yeah, they'll fill up with snow. It doesn't rain, probably doesn't rain much, Minnie doesn't know. But they'll fill up with snow. And then they'll melt. And they'll have little reservoirs of water. So you don't have to fly over there, way over there to the lake or to the river to get the drink. So they'll spend more time up in Old Greg's vagina, dancing and eating seeds and pooping seeds. Yeah. Minnie sees a haboob out there in that valley. This big soup bowl over there. We see the haboob over there. And it's like without this vegetation and ground cover, the wind just blows the soil away, then makes big dust storms. But we're gonna check on our plants here, see how they're doing. You've got some little nut trees growing in there, and some training housing. Yeah, we give them some training housing because when we plant them in the ground, some little creature comes along. This one's not doing so well. Let's see. Yeah, some little creature comes along and eats the nuts. off at a... This one's doing nice. Starting to look like oak leaves. In their little training housing. Because they won't allow us to recycle. Yeah, if he goes to Oregon and tries to recycle, they'll let you through the first time. And then they'll look at your license plate tag. They'll say it's not from their, their state. And they'll write it off. They'll say, oh, that's okay. Nigger, faggot, tranny, queer's just passing through. It's like, it's okay. No need to be alarmed. And then you go a second time. And they start to get standoffish. And then they go to church. And Facebook. And if you say Facebook like a supercalifragilisticqueer, it sounds like Facebook. Yes, they've got Facebook churches. They're not satisfied. They've got their regular old-fashioned churches. And they got their corporate Facebook churches, too. And you tell them, it's like, well, we just got some recycling here. Got to dispose of it somehow. And they're like, is it recycling? What did we just say? They wants to turn us into fucking talking head psycho killer. Is that what they want? Say something once. Why say it again? Yeah, is that what they want? Because all Mooney wants to tell them is be a sarcastic bitch and say, no, we just drove all the way across town for the fun of it because we have inexhaustible resources. We could just totally waste fucking petroleum and oil and rubber on the car tires and to just run over here to have you tell us or ask us, is it recycling after we tell you? Yeah, after we very politely tell you that we're here, we have a few things to recycle, some aluminum cans, and then they want to say, is it recycling? and then, yeah, if that all their churches and their corporate bodies have agreed that they don't want any nigger, faggot, tranny, queers with our tags around there. So many steps across the border into this other state of existence or being. Yeah, they called it California. But since they all call us nothing, yes, they all demand that Mooney is nothing. Because, see, that's how they do it. They abuse us, discriminate, deny us opportunities, labor, housing, recycling, that's supposed to be open to the public. And then, and then they go to church and Jabez forgives them for it. So, that, if you turn that into a number sequence, they essentially say that we are nothing. And so when Mooney gets to California, when Mooney gets to this place they call California, we say, well, we can't really be a part of your state because everybody abuses us and calls us nothing. So we marry the postal abbreviation for California, which is CA, to the Spanish word for nada, at least, or nothing. Yeah, that at least we've gathered from a film, the Three Amigos. Do you know what the word nada means? Isn't it like a light chicken gravy? Yeah, so, since a federal employee at FEMA also discriminates and tells us, go to Canada, yeah, to deny their abuse, they would send us to Canada. They would plant the seeds and say, we're not going to acknowledge our abuse here, not even on the federal level! And instead, get a discriminating vagina called Kim working for FEMA. Yeah, working for a federal agency after a disaster in Vermont to tell us to go to Canada. So here we are in Canada. They call it California, but they also deny their abuse. So this has to be Canada. It's the postal abbreviation for California, and married together with this word nada. Yeah, so we stepped across the border into this California place, and they have waste authorities. Yeah, where you can go recycle stuff, and they say, sure, we can recycle that battery with electronics in it. It's just going to cost you a few bucks. Bucks. Yeah, they say they have authority. They have this line of authority all the way from Washington or wherever the fuck it comes from. But yet they want us to agree. They want to pull us into a trap and try to get us to agree and go along with their sort of it's a sort of forgery. Yeah, if they call these dollars, like if you look at these treasury notes, right? If you look at them, it's written quite plainly on there, dollars. You don't see anything about a fucking buck on there anywhere, or a duck. You don't see anything about ducks, fucks, bucks, sucks, clucks, plucks, trucks, or anything else rhyming with uck. You don't see that. And it might be there, you know, there might be some instance of it, but it doesn't actually read that. And so they want some bucks. And then he tells them, we don't have any bucks. We're like this. Yeah, we're you know, the Captain Kirk traveled through time to go rescue some whales. They do a slingshot around the sun and end up in San Francisco. Yeah, and they can't pay for the pizza and the Michelob because they don't have any money. It's like, oh, let me guess, they don't have money in the 23rd century. Well, we don't. Well, not bucks anyway. We don't have these bucks. And so they want us to, it's like they're trying to trap us in their authority systems. They use every power at their so-called power at their disposal to try to trap us and get us to go along with, oh, it's okay, we'll call it a buck. Is that what they call it here? Okay, fuck it, we'll call it a buck. We tell them we don't have any bucks. We have these treasury notes with dollar printed on there, and we have a few silver pound British pounds, and some florins and shillings and sixpence and none the richer. That's all we have. Some pennies. And some pennies. Yeah, some actual fucking pennies, not these cents. Not these divisions of 100, these cents. No, there's, you know, T for 2 and 2 for T. There are 240 pennies in a pound. Yeah, 2 for T. T for 2 and 2 for T. If that's how you remember. But we don't have any bucks. So we tell them, you know, we don't know what you're talking about with this buck stuff, but we can tell you this. If you stick your buck in the quack, a doe has 3 quacks, and if you stick your buck in a quack, in one of these quacks on the doe, you know, quack, quack, quack. If you stick your buck in one of these quacks on the doe, you can get more bucks and doe out of it. Fuck you and die.